The fall of the Beverly Hills empire. Inside the leaked reality of Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky's billion-dollar divorce. For 15 years, Bravo fans watched Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky and thought, that is the only marriage in Beverly Hills that will never break. They had the perfect family, the private jets, and a billion-dollar empire. But behind closed doors, the perfect marriage was a lie. And now, the NDAs have failed, and the real toxic truth behind why Kyle Richards finally filed for divorce has officially leaked. For nearly 3 decades, Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky were hailed as the undisputed golden couple of reality television. Amidst the shifting sands of Bravo's The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, RHOBH, a franchise notorious for destroying marriages, the Umansky household stood as an oasis of stability. They had the wealth, the gorgeous family, the sprawling mansions, and an on-screen chemistry that defied the reality TV curse. But behind the manicured lawns of Encino and the high-end storefronts of Aspen, the illusion was quietly fracturing. Following a grueling 2-year separation played out in vague public relations statements and painful reality TV confessionals, the dam has finally broken. Exclusive leaks from deep within the Bravo production circle, legal circles, and family confidants have exposed the exact breaking points that brought down a 27-year marriage. This is the definitive, unvarnished look into the leaked truths of why Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky officially filed for divorce, the disastrous family trip that ended it all, and the high-stakes legal battle over a billion-dollar real estate empire. The illusion of the Beverly Hills golden couple. To understand the magnitude of the collapse, one must first look at the foundation. When Kyle Richards married Mauricio Umansky in January 1996, they were far from the ultra-wealthy moguls they are today. Mauricio was a struggling clothing manufacturer, and Kyle was a working actress raising her eldest daughter, Farah. When Mauricio transitioned into the luxury real estate market, his career skyrocketed. Much of that initial momentum was fueled by the elite social network of Kyle's family, specifically her brother-in-law, Rick Hilton, co-founder of the powerhouse brokerage Hilton and Highland. For years, Mauricio honed his craft under the Hilton umbrella, establishing himself as a top-tier agent in Los Angeles. When The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills premiered in 2010, the Umanskys were presented as the ultimate aspirational family. Unlike their castmates, whose lives were riddled with financial instability, bankruptcy, and infidelity scandals, Kyle and Mauricio showcased an enviable partnership. Mauricio was the doting, fiercely loyal husband. Kyle was the protective, glamorous matriarch. For over a decade, their marriage wasn't just a personal success, it was a core brand asset. It drove viewers to Bravo, brought unprecedented publicity to Mauricio's burgeoning real estate firm, and created a protective shield around their private life. But reality television demands a sacrifice, and by the turn of the decade, the cameras began catching the slight tremors beneath the surface. The core fractures, trust, grief, and the real estate trap. According to leaked insider reports, the demise of the marriage was not caused by a single event, but rather a slow, agonizing accumulation of emotional distance and broken trust. The real estate obsession. The first major fracture came from the very engine that created their wealth. Mauricio's real estate firm, The Agency, founded in 2011 after a bitter, highly publicized split from Hilton and Highland. As the agency expanded globally, eventually spawning its own Netflix spin-off series Buying Beverly Hills, Mauricio's focus shifted completely. Insiders close to Kyle revealed that Mauricio became consumed by his corporate empire. He was flying across the globe, opening new brokerages, and managing hundreds of millions of dollars in luxury listings. Kyle, meanwhile, was left navigating a deeply isolating reality. The husband who used to be present at every family dinner was suddenly a corporate ghost, checked out even when physically in the room. Unaddressed, grief and evolving perspectives. The emotional divide widened significantly following the tragic suicide of Kyle's lifelong best friend, Lorene Shea, in May 2022. The profound grief shattered Kyle's worldview. Sources close to the actress state that Lorene's passing forced Kyle to reevaluate her own life, mortality, and happiness. While Kyle was undergoing a radical personal transformation, cutting out alcohol, embracing intensive fitness regimes, and seeking deeper emotional authenticity, Mauricio remained hyper-focused on business expansion. When Kyle needed an emotional anchor during her darkest period of depression, she found herself largely alone. The lifestyle differences became glaring. Kyle was sober and introspective. Mauricio was still immersed in the high-flying, partying lifestyle of the luxury real estate elite. The disastrous Aspen trip, the leaked point of no return. While the public was kept at bay with carefully worded Instagram captions about navigating a rough year, the true breaking point occurred far from the cameras during a family trip to Aspen. Aspen had always been a sanctuary for the Umansky family. It was the location of their beloved vacation home and the backdrop for some of their happiest memories. This specific trip was intended to be a private, offline effort to see if the romantic spark could be salvaged after months of living separate lives. Instead, it became the final nail in the coffin. Leaked details from family confidants revealed that the trip was an emotional catastrophe. Rather than using the time to reconnect, Mauricio reportedly treated Kyle as though she were completely invisible. Insiders claim that Mauricio spent the majority of the vacation tethered to his phone, handling business crises and socializing with external circles, leaving Kyle to feel completely isolated within her own family unit. Kyle allegedly attempted multiple deep, confrontational conversations regarding the future of their marriage and the emotional neglect she was experiencing. Mauricio's response, according to leaks, was a mixture of defensiveness and complete emotional detachment. Kyle left Aspen profoundly humiliated and deeply aware that the man she had built a life with had already mentally and emotionally checked out of the partnership. Upon returning to Los Angeles, the living arrangements became strictly transactional, setting the stage for the public collapse, the paparazzi parade, and the breaking of public respect. For years, Kyle Richards had operated as Mauricio's fiercest defender. On season after season of RHOBH, whenever tabloids ran allegations of Mauricio's alleged infidelity or wandering eye in Beverly Hills, Kyle shut the rumors down with fierce determination. She protected his reputation at all costs, understanding that a scandal could damage both their family peace and the stock value of the agency. However, once the separation became semi-public, Mauricio's behavior changed, and that is where the leaked anger truly lies. Insiders revealed that the ultimate catalyst for Kyle moving forward with the formal legal divorce filing was Mauricio's blatant public disrespect. Throughout the separation, Mauricio was photographed by paparazzi in highly compromising situations with a string of younger influencers, models, and socialites. From cozy dinners in Greece to holding hands with his Dancing with the Stars partner, Emma Slater, Mauricio's single lifestyle was aggressively broadcasted to the world. For Kyle, this was the ultimate betrayal. It wasn't just the implication of moving on. It was the fact that he was doing it so publicly, effectively parading his bachelor status while she was still trying to shield their 4 daughters from media scrutiny. Kyle felt completely blindsided and publicly humiliated. A source close to the production leaked. She had spent a decade lying for him and protecting him from cheating rumors on camera, only for him to completely discard her public dignity the moment they took space. The realization that Mauricio was no longer interested in protecting her image or their history was the exact moment Kyle reached out to her legal team to finalize the divorce petition. The war over the agency, splitting a billion-dollar asset. With the emotional damage finalized, the battleground shifted to the courtroom, evolving into a high-stakes financial war over asset division and corporate ownership. The primary reason the divorce took so long to transition from a separation to a formal court filing was the terrifying complexity of splitting Mauricio's real estate empire, the agency. The battle for 50%? Under California law, marriages of long duration typically require a 50-50 split of all community property acquired during the marriage. Because the agency was founded in 2011, well into their marriage, Kyle is legally entitled to half of Mauricio's massive ownership stake in the billion-dollar global brokerage. Leaked legal documents and insider whispers indicate that Mauricio fiercely resisted this division. His legal team argued that the agency's success was entirely dependent on his personal brand, labor, and executive leadership, attempting to minimize Kyle's financial payout. However, Kyle's legal strategy rested on a powerful counterargument. The agency would not exist without her. When Mauricio left Hilton and Highland, he was stripped of his immediate safety net. It was Kyle's celebrity status on Bravo that gave the new brokerage free, prime-time advertising to millions of wealthy viewers every week. Furthermore, Kyle's deep-rooted Hollywood connections and her initial reconciliation with her sisters, Kathy Hilton and Kim Richards, provided the elite social capital required to land the agency its first multi-million-dollar listings. Mansions and media rights. Beyond the corporate entity, the division of their real estate portfolio remains incredibly contentious. The assets under negotiation include the iconic Encino estate, purchased for $8.25 million and heavily renovated. The ultra-luxury Aspen vacation retreat, valued at nearly $9 million. Liquid investments, production residuals, and intellectual property rights connected to their respective reality television contracts. The leaked reality of their current legal standstill is a classic corporate standoff. Kyle refuses to walk away without the full financial recognition of her role as the co-builder of the Umansky empire, while Mauricio is fighting to keep his life's work from being structurally dismantled by a divorce court. Chapter 6: The Morgan Wade Factor. Truth versus tabloid hype. No analysis of the Umansky-Richards divorce is complete without addressing the most talked-about relationship in modern Bravo history, Kyle's intense, highly scrutinized bond with country music singer Morgan Wade. The media frenzy began when fans noticed matching tattoos, shared vacations, and an undeniable emotional intimacy between the reality star and the musician. When Kyle starred as Morgan's romantic interest in the music video for Fall in Love with Me, the internet exploded with speculation. The leaked reality. According to internal sources, the timeline of Kyle's relationship with Morgan has been heavily manipulated for television ratings, but the emotional core is real. Leaks indicate that Morgan Wade did not cause the divorce between Kyle and Mauricio. Rather, Morgan was the catalyst that showed Kyle what she was missing in her marriage. Where Mauricio was distant, corporate, and emotionally unavailable, Morgan provided an intense, hyper-focused emotional support system. Morgan accompanied Kyle through her sobriety journey, attended therapy sessions with her, and offered a safe space for Kyle to unpack the decades of trauma associated with growing up as a child star in the toxic Richards-Hilt-Umansky family dynamic. Whether the relationship is strictly platonic, romantic, or fluid, insiders state that Morgan Wade represented freedom for Kyle. She represented a life away from the rigid expectations of being a doting Beverly Hills corporate housewife. While Mauricio was busy building an empire with younger models on his arm, Kyle found solace in a completely alternative lifestyle, signaling to the world that the traditional Umansky family dynamic was permanently dead. Conclusion: the aftermath of a reality TV dynasty. The collapse of Kyle Richards and Mauricio Umansky's marriage marks the definitive end of an era for the real housewives of Beverly Hills. It serves as a stark, cautionary tale about the true cost of reality TV fame and the ruthless nature of the luxury real estate world. As the legal proceedings grind on behind closed doors, both Kyle and Mauricio are forced to reinvent themselves. Mauricio must now pilot the agency through the turbulent waters of a high-interest housing market while facing the massive financial hit of a high-profile divorce settlement. Kyle, stripped of her identity as the perfectly married housewife, is stepping into her true power, unapologetically sober, fiercely independent, and completely unwilling to stay silent any longer. The golden couple of Beverly Hills is gone, and in their place stand two powerful individuals navigating the wreckage of an empire, proving once and for all that not even $1 billion can buy a permanent, happily ever after under the glare of the reality TV lens.